Mind blown.
Grab a drink and a snack and be ready to chat. Real talks only. Politics, boy tricks, fitness. What's it like it is? I tell it like it is, in my opinion. Listen as he says.
Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, whatever time zone you're in. My name is Lisette, here to keep the real on check. Today's Real Talks: the Simpsons creator must be a time traveler. Alright, so I've done some research and I've looked into some predictions that the Simpsons have made over the years. I've come to an in-between. There are people who believe these predictions, and then there are other people that have like concrete evidence that these predictions are not real. And I mean, not every single prediction has been debunked. So I feel like in a way that kind of makes me go, well, if you can't have backup to say that all of these aren't true, then if one of them is true, then the other one probably has some truth to it too. You know, that's how I kind of see things. But we're gonna go in. I'm gonna read some of the major predictions and kind of give my thoughts on them. Okay, the first one that I found really interesting. I don't know if anybody knows the Siegfried and Roy, I hope I pronounced that right, the entertainers. There was an episode in 1993 episode of The Simpsons that predicted, during the episode, the musicians are viciously mauled by a trained white tiger while performing in a casino.
She loves show business. So much nicer than the savagery of the jungle, yeah?
Hey, tiger, wake up!
If anybody knows the Siegfried and Roy entertainers, you know that they always had tigers around them. They were always known for their well-behaved tigers, and everybody always was like, how are these tigers not attacking them? Simpsons makes an episode, and then in 2003, Roy was attacked during a live performance by Montecore, one of their white tigers. He lived but sustained several injuries in the attack. So it's just, I don't know, what, to me that's kind of coincidental. Moving on. Another one that I found interesting, in 1994, Simpsons had an episode, Lunch Lady Doris used assorted horse parts to make lunch for students at Springfield Elementary. 9 years later, the Food Safety Authority of Ireland found horse DNA in over 1/3 of beef burger samples from supermarkets and ready-made meat sandwiches, meals that I do not personally eat, but I digress. And that's kind of weird to me. How does one creatively imagine this and then years later it happens in real life? Another weird one, which I should Google this. Okay, so in the episode from 1998, Bart catches a three-eyed fish. Then more than a decade later, a three-eyed fish was found in a reservoir in Argentina. Though, a little bit of context, that reservoir itself was actually fed by water from a nuclear power plant. So I guess the fish mutated due to the nuclear access coming into the water. I could see that. But again, to me, crazy that, what, 1990? You have an episode with a three-eyed fish, and then a three-eyed fish appears years later. Another interesting one, which I know people in America who vote. I was actually told a story about how they went to go vote, and they wanted to vote on a machine, and somehow, I can't remember like the full story, but somehow, some way, they ended up having to write a paper vote instead of a electronic vote. Though electronic votes was an option, they still ended up writing a paper vote. And I don't know, to me, paper vote is not as safe as an electronic vote. So with electronics, things can still go wrong, as in 2003, The Simpsons showed Homer trying to vote for Barack Obama in the US general election, but a faulty machine changed his vote.
Ooh, one of those electronic voting dealies.
1 vote for McCain. Thank you.
No, I want to vote for Obama.
2 votes for McCain.
Come on, it's time for a change.
3 votes for McCain.
No, no, no!
6 votes for President McCain.
Hey, I only meant one of those votes for McCain. This machine is rigged. I must tell President McCain. Ah! This doesn't happen in America. Maybe Ohio, but not in America. Ah! Ah!
4 years later, a voting machine in Pennsylvania had to be removed after it kept changing people's votes from Barack Obama to Mitt Romney. I don't know, let's talk a little bit. I just feel like there's a lot there. I'm a communications and media major. I've taken classes that tell you about connotations within media. And it's just, to me, I feel like it's too coincidental that you have all these predictions in the show and then years later it comes true. Like, Matt Groening. Like, how complex could Matt Groening's imagination be that he comes up with all these crazy things that just happen to coincidentally, come true in real life years later? He must be a time traveler, or he must have some sort of access to some secret book where they make all the plans. I don't know. Am I reaching? To me, it's just mind-blowing. I mean, I did some further research, and there are some of the predictions that are kind of been debunked. Let's go through the ones that I said. Oh, I didn't mention another one, and to me that was a big one. I can't believe I missed that. But the 2015 presidential candidacy, apparently Simpsons predicted that, and then that came true years later. We all know how that one went. I don't really need to go into the logistics of that. There was an episode of The Simpsons in 2000 that called for Trump's presidency for 2016. This site is saying that it's titled "The Simpsons Didn't Predict That." This site says that the Simpsons prediction of Donald Trump's presidency is false. It says the images from The Simpsons showing Donald Trump's announcement of his presidential candidacy are from 2015, not 2000. I mean, to me, fine, I guess 2015, 2016, that's not really much of a time difference, but I don't know, that's just one. See, and that's the only one that I could find that actually debunks that prediction. That's the only one.
It's a very funny story going around right now about your prediction about the Trump presidency in the Bart the Future episode with your writers. And I was just curious if, being your political party's Democrat, would you take that episode out of syndication if he was elected president, just out of curiosity? Or would you just let it continue to run? I just think it's funny.
Yeah, well, go check that out. That's pretty good. Everything we predict on the show comes true. So there you go.
Would you ever have Donald on there as a guest voice? I mean, if he were elected, would you ever take it? Because he would do almost any media outlet, it seems like.
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
I doubt it. I doubt we could come up with something he'd be willing to say. Even us, yeah. He would say a lot, but I doubt it.
Given with your political, do you think it's going to be as bad as The Simpsons predicted it if he's president, or is it one of those things where it was more of a joke and we don't really know?
I find it unlikely that he will get elected.
You find it unlikely he'll get elected at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I don't know. To me, this just seems all weird. And then now, here we are in the middle of COVID. And I'm not going to say, I'm sure you're expecting me to be like, oh yeah, Simpsons predicted COVID too. I'm not going to say that. I wouldn't go too far as to say that Simpsons predicted it. There was an episode where there was an outbreak of some sort of flu. Because, like, guys, I mean, the flu has been killing people for as long as we know. The flu has been around. So I'll save other comments for later, but the flu has been around, so there's been predictions of outbreak pandemic flus in The Simpsons, but I'm not gonna say that they straightforwardly predicted the coronavirus, because it doesn't say. There's like a picture of it in one of the episodes, but that one's doctored. It's not real. So I wouldn't say that. They did somewhat predict the Ebola virus, but again, there have been viruses that have been around for as long as we know. Spanish flu, Hong Kong flu, all sorts of flus. The flu has been a thing for as long as we know. I digress. So I wouldn't say, okay, yeah, The Simpsons definitely predicted these viruses. Did they maybe possibly have an inside scoop? Like, I don't know. You comment below what you think, whether, you know, the creator of Simpsons actually did time travel to get all this information, or whether, I don't know, he just has some really hot links and connects and contacts that I wish that I had, that I could know what the future holds. To me, mind blown. Matt Groening, he also created Futurama, so now the conspiracy theorist that I am in my heart, I just believe, for all we know, the future will look like what Futurama looks like. Big question mark, but one that has some evidence, because the predictions that I gave to you guys, like the three-eyed fish, the machines being rigged, what else did I say? The horse meat in the food. I haven't found any sources online that debunk that one. The only one that I have in front of me that says that it's not true, the pictures have been photoshopped or whatever, was the Trump election prediction. But like, regardless of whether The Simpsons predicted that Trump was gonna win no matter what. So this has been the video, me just giving my thoughts and opinions on the predictions that we see in Simpsons. I love Simpsons. I never used to really particularly be allowed to watch the show, but sometimes I would sneak it, sometimes I would watch it with my uncle. And Matt Groening just seems to have all the answers. I seem to have some special magic that I wish that I could dip my hand in. To me, I don't see how, but yet it's happening. Even though I've presented evidence that, you know, kind of makes you question whether any of this is true, the fact that there is even something that is making you believe that it is true is enough for me. Like, conspiracy theory is never going to be foolproof. It's always going to have holes, it's always going to have gray areas. But at the end of the day, it came from somewhere. The idea started from somewhere. The thought came from somewhere. Whether you believe it or not, it's totally up to you. But I personally, whether I believe that The Simpsons predicts things, we could debate that. We can debate that. But it's a little bit harder. Me personally, I would say it's a little bit harder to debate the fact that TV shows, television, just media in general, the shows and movies that we consume, there's messages hidden in there. There is truth in the shows and the movies that we watch. Just someone being creative, you know, thinking of the impossible. No, I think it's very much possible. And I think they know, and when I say they, like, I know somebody's probably gonna comment, who are you talking about when they say they? I don't even want to get in, like, who you talk about when they say they. I mean, it's up to you. Who do you think I'm talking about when I say they? I think there are some secrets that are being hidden. I think there are some facts, some textbooks, literature old Sanscripts locked away in some secret vault 13 levels down into the ground that they only pull up when it's necessary. Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking, but to me, you don't just come up with these things. You have to have some sort of source of the information. Alright guys, this will be the end of this video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up. Stay tuned for more videos to come. Just wanted to bring this to your attention. Says.